Vanessa Russo is looking down at ace-10 suited.
Good at metagaming. Everybody thinks he's completely crazy.
Selbst Siver, always looking to apply pressure, opens the pot to 1,600 with ace-6 offsuit. It is a loose open, typical of Siver's wide range in late position, designed to steal the blinds or outplay opponents post-flop. Russo wakes up with a hand that dominates Siver's holding. However, rather than 3-betting to isolate and define ranges, she chooses to flat call. This passive line is deceptive. She keeps Siver's range wide and invites him to bluff into a hand that is statistically likely to be ahead. The flop falls a connected texture that misses the high card ranges of both players but creates immediate tension. Here, Russo deviates from standard strategy. Instead of checking to the pre-flop raiser, she leads out with a donk bet. This is a probing bet, designed to seize the initiative and define where she stands. The turn brings the 7, a card that drastically increases Siver's equity. He now holds an open-ended straight draw, meaning any 3 or 8 will give him a straight. Russo, sensing that the board is getting wetter and more dangerous, decides to ramp up the aggression. She fires a substantial bet of 7,000. Siver, now holding massive equity with his draw and his ace out, makes the easy call. The pot is building rapidly, and both players are stubbornly holding onto hands that are technically just ace-high. The river is the 3, the card that creates absolute chaos. It gives Russo a wheel straight, but also completes Siver, whose is higher. She checks, fully expecting the hand to go to a showdown where they split the money. However, Siver holds the 6, which connects with the board to make a higher straight. Recognizing that Russo likely views this as a split pot, Siver bets 12,000 for thin value.
6 high straight.
Aw.
Or 7, but yeah.
Yeah, either one.
That's him.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on king-queen offsuit. The table is 4-way after Tony G opens, and Viffer, Negreanu, and Selbst Siver all come along. That matters because equities flatten in multi-way pots. Single pair hands lose value while nutted, and draw heavy holdings gain. Tony G's range from early position in this lineup still contains suited connectors.
This is room for everyone to keep improving.
I mean, the way you guys all play, there's certainly tons of room.
Yeah.
Scott calls.
I'm going to go with an old Helmuth trick. Watch this, gentlemen. Check in the dark. How do you fade that? Seriously. Check in the dark. I don't even want to see what's coming.
Checking through is revealing. On this texture, the pre-flop raiser has a lot of one pair and gut shot combinations that dislike being raised by 3 players.
See how that worked? Because if I wouldn't have done that, they would have been more scared. My turn, right?
Daniel's still open-ended.
Did you qualify?
Yes. I've qualified pretty comfortably at this point. The question is, how much do I want to put in there?
You checked.
No, I'm not, for sure.
He's not checking?
Yeah. If you're folding any bet, you can just do that now. I'm going to put in...
The turn is the 7 of spades, a huge card for Tony G's side of the range, and a bad one for capped checkbacks. Negreanu leads $3,600 into the field, a small sizing that targets folds from the Broadway airballs, and denies equity to Queen 9, 9-8, and the club draws. Scott's call with Queen Jack keeps dominated queens in, but the raise from Tony G to $14,000 is the pivotal data point. After a street of passivity, that raise is heavily weighted to value.
If I win the pot, I'll give you your money back.
Negreanu's call with King-Queen looks ambitious only if you ignore blocker logic. He removes the queen that completes Tony G's higher straight and retains outs to the ace, or 9, to make his own. Scott correctly recognizes he's in kicker jail and releases.
Wow, that was a big sweat.
Took a long time. That speech really got him.
He made a big laydown just now.
The river is the 9 of diamonds. Range-wise, it's a dagger for Tony G. His made straight from the turn remains a straight, but Negreanu's king-queen now upgrades to the higher straight. When Negreanu fires $35,000, the story is polarized between exactly that high straight and bluffs that bricked clubs or random Queen X that tried to push Tony G off a one-pair hand.
Are you also offering my 4,800 back if you...
Tony calls and Daniel wins a $100,000 pot.
I had the nuts on the turn. Wow, well done.
Phil Helmuth is looking down on ace-9 offsuit.
Doing an add-on, if no one objects.
No, of course.
I don't object.
Add on for as much as you like. Up to 500,000.
Preflop. This is a perfect example of how one aggressive decision can pull 3 other players into a very volatile pot. Brunson opens with 6-5 suited, a classic loose raise that keeps the game flowing and his range wide.
I call.
Helmuth wakes up with ace-9 offsuit and chooses a big 3-bet to 12,600. That sizing is doing a lot of work. He wants to isolate the opener, pick up the dead money, and use position plus skill edge rather than pure cards. The problem is the hand itself. Ace-9 offsuit looks pretty, but in a re-raised pot it is in terrible shape against any calling range that includes better aces, big pairs, and suited Broadway.
I raised the pot.
When Wiggins looks down at pocket kings behind all of this, he is in a dream spot and decides just to call. That flat call is very tempting. He keeps all the weaker hands in, disguises his strength, and gives himself a chance to win a huge pot without ever having to face a 4-bet, but it also invites the players behind to come along with speculative holdings.
12-6.
Yep.
Call.
We have some cannon action over here.
And Brunson, getting an excellent price in closing the action, comes along as well.
I know Tony's gonna call it, so I might as well too.
Yeah. I love these big pots.
What a sick hand this is. 4 ways.
I'm not even going anyway next pot, so it's like a free roll for me.
By the time the dealer spreads the flop, Helmuth's isolation 3-bet has turned into a 4-way pot where his dominated ace-9 has to navigate 2 deep stacks and one of the strongest starting hands in poker. The flop comes 9-10-9, and the board instantly rewrites everyone's expectations.
That flop looks like you, doesn't it?
No, Phil, I look like me.
17,000.
Phil bets 17,000.
If you look like me, why you bet so much?
Helmuth, who started the hand with the most questionable value hand, suddenly finds himself holding trips with top kicker. From his point of view, this is about as good as it gets. He blocks full houses with his ace-9, beats every overpair, and is way ahead of any 10x that peeled preflop.
36,000. I love you, Ernest.
I tried again, well, I just can't.
Doyle folds.
I was gonna raise. I'm so sick.
Tony G's out.
Wow.
This is almost certainly disaster for our loose cannon.
200,000.
What are you gonna do if I move in? You gonna call?
Phil, of course I have no choice but to, my brother.
You got aces or kings or something, or what?
Man, if I had aces or kings, man, I'd be the man right now, wouldn't I?
Well, I don't think I have a choice here. This is so sick. All right, I guess I'm all in.
I call. Kings.
I got 3 9s.
You gotta be kidding me. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
What were you slow rolling him for?
Here, man.
Maybe at 10's full. I mean, he was so happy.
That was so unreal.
That was torture.
I didn't mean to slow roll. Hold on. How many times do you want to deal it?
Give him.
You want to deal it 4 times? No, that's not.
When
a
you
slow
know
roll.
he's gonna call because he says it.
You know,
and
Phil Lock, why don't you just stay out of why don't you stay out of it?
'Cause I'm right here and I
because
feel bad.
you've been so far out of line to me, and every time we've played, and I'm just sick of it. So why don't you just mind your business?
12,600.
But he's right. It was a pretty sick slow roll.
I'm sorry, because I haven't done anything like that in my whole life.
Were you folding? I can't get away from this. The whole speech. The guy's already in.
He's already got 80% of
Let Joel
it.
decide.
4 times?
Yeah, it gives you a better chance to
Ace
win.
damn sure do. Cool.
A jack of hearts.
Queen. Yeah, queen, king.
The river and ace of diamonds. Round 1 goes to Helmuth. The turn, a king.
There we go. Full house. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Get me down.
The river's a 3.
15% dog. Ernest has won the second pot.
So that's cool. I'm feeling good right now. Well,
A 7 of spades.
Everybody's rooting for a spade.
It is a spade.
Damn.
Spade up 2-1.
Hey.
That's the loose cannon. He's up 2-1.
why did you go for 4 times? You went.
A queen on the turn.
Jack. There's a jack.
The final river card. It's a king.
That's real. He hit 3 out of 4. He hit 3 out of 4. That's with the worst hand. Why is everyone so happy except Phil? That's what I'm talking about. Huh?
Oh, yeah. That'll work, man. Yeah.
Daniel Negreanu has pocket kings.
Raises.
Queen high. Queen high?
He opens the pot to $1,200, a classic early position flex that targets the blinds and sets up a pot he can steer in position. Phil Helmuth, smooth, calls, choosing pot control and range protection over a thin 3-bet. Eugene Kachelov comes along as well with ace-9, content to realize in position and take a multi-way flop against 2 ranges that can play face-up on ace-high textures. Kachelov checks the ace-high flop, protecting a top-pair hand with a middling kicker and letting the action declare itself. Negreanu checks behind. Pocket kings hate attacking into 2 players on an ace board, and the slow down keeps weaker hands and bluffs alive while controlling the pot. Helmuth takes the invitation and fires $1,200, a small stab meant to fold out nothing hands and price set against exactly these cautious checks. Kachelov calls, signaling he is not afraid of a little heat with top pair. Negreanu overcalls, a cagey line that keeps both ranges uncapped and disguises the true strength of kings by wearing the same hoodie as ace-X.
You too, Daniel?
Yeah.
My God.
You didn't expect 2 calls, right?
No,
Just one.
I was expecting 1 call. No.
All 3 check the turn after the 8 rolls off. That card changes little. Kachelov sees no need to inflate with his kicker problem. Helmuth's one-and-done bluff correctly shuts down into 2 sticky ranges, and Negreanu continues the sandbag, preserving the option to spring value or bluff catch on rivered scare cards. The river drops the king of clubs and the trap wakes up. Kachelov leads $4,200, thin value that hopes to get paid by worse aces and denies a free showdown to stubborn pairs. Negreanu answers with a raise to $14,200, selling a story consistent with a slow-played monster or a patient ace that improved, and crucially targeting the very hand Kachelov is value betting.
I think Phil's Hollywooding a bit here since he bet out on the flop.
Helmuth gets out of the way, his earlier poke having run its course. Faced with a credible, disciplined raise from a player who never overbets his bluffs, Kachelov has to reassess whether ace-9 is really a cash-out hand or a tip jar.
And Eugene folds.
I had at least that.
Vanessa is looking down on ace-jack offsuit. Pre-flop is a quiet trap that Vanessa sets on purpose. Antonio opens the button light, which Vanessa flat calls from the small blind and Shack completes. By not 3-betting, Vanessa keeps both dominated aces and splashy suited connectors in. Multi-way, in position on Antonio and with shock behind, ace-jack plays beautifully. She wants exactly this kind of pot. That's top pair, top kicker for Vanessa on a very wet texture. Instead of checking to the razor and risking a free card or a check-through 3-way, she leads $165K. It's a protection lead that charges every draw and worse jack. Shack's hand is the textbook, raise the donk, candidate, pair plus clubs plus straight equity. He bumps it to $400K, telling a story of strength while leaning on fold equity plus a ton of ways to improve. Vanessa just calls. No reason to blow up the pot against a range that includes bluffs and dominated value. And if she 3-bets, she mostly isolates the strongest stuff or gets shoved on by draws with tons of equity. Flat keeps the leash tight. Turn pairs the board. That card quietly helps Vanessa more than shock. Sets are less likely now. Her jack stays very live, and a bunch of Shack's pair-based value gets neutered. He still has all the draws, though.
All in.
And Shaq shoves!
I call.
Vanessa calls! It's a 10! That was not supposed to happen.
Bendinelli kicks things off with pocket eights. This is a hand that can be extremely powerful, especially in a heads-up match. With $7 million already in the pot, Bendinelli can extract a lot more value.
Oh boy, we got a set of 8s for Bendinelli.
Oh no.
Top pair for Guerrero.
With Guerrero's weak check, Bendinelli can now completely take over the pot. The only question is how big of a bet he makes. So Guerrero stays and makes the pot bigger. Bendinelli is not looking to let Guerrero see a cheap flop and fires a $2.5 million bet. That is almost a third of the pot. But with the top pair on the flop, Guerrero is not looking as if he will back down. He doesn't disappoint and calls Bendinelli's bet. This pot is getting enormous.
Turn. is a
Oh,
jack.
wow.
Oh, no.
What a setup.
Oh, such a cold deck.
Cold deck city. Guerrero covered.
With an insane amount of luck, Guerrero pulls a third jack that completes his jack trips. This completely turns the game on its head, but only in Guerrero's head. Bendinelli is now sitting comfortable on a full house and is looking to extract even more value. Bendinelli is completely aware of how strong of a position he now finds himself in. That's why he fires a $5.5 million bet that is there to prevent weaker hands from playing for the river and maybe dissuade stronger opponents with weak mental game. But fortunately for Bendinelli this time around, Guerrero is anything but a poker player with weak mental game. He is completely unaware of the kind of trap he is walking in and confidently calls the enormous bet from Bendinelli.
River.
Oh
The
my
board pairs, but it's the
God.
8.
No.
It's quad
No.
8s for Bendinelli.
Wow.
This is unbelievable. This is the coldest of decks. It doesn't get any colder than this, Maria.
I'm glad you got a sweatshirt for this hand, Nick.
Insane.
The turn delivers another 8, which completes the quads for Bendinelli, which I can't believe I am saying again in this video, but is even luckier than Guerrero's jack. Now Guerrero is first on the move. He has a big choice ahead of himself, and I am starting to believe, based on his previous ones, that he will make the wrong one. And the wrong one he does. He fires a slightly smaller bet of $3.8 million, which looks completely abysmal from where we are sitting. I can't think of a reason he would commit so hard to such a weak hand other than a bad earlier read. Bendinelli with his quads doesn't really have anything to think about, other than baiting Guerrero and paying even more on this disaster of a hand. What do you think? Will he bet half the pot, or will he go crazy and shove all in? Let me know in the comments.
Put this to bed. Announces all in. Guerrero hasn't snap called. There's just no way. There's the call from Guerrero. It's over.
Selbst kicks things off with 8-7 suited. This is a hand that can be extremely powerful if the flop falls just right. So currently with McClung on the raise, she is just calling in order to see the pot as cheaply as possible. Herrings and Sanchez both limp call and pray for a good flop. Let's see what the dealer has in store for them.
10-9-6. What a flop. A straight flush draw for Vanessa Selbst and a set of 6s for Chris McClung.
With this type of flop, it will be a full-on battle of stacks. Vanessa with the straight on the flop and a potential straight flush is in prime position to extract value from the guys that think they have something to play for. And McClung with his set of 6s does exactly that. He bets more than $1,000, inflating the pot for Selbst.
Herring also flopped pretty huge, like his arms.
After this attempt at humor, Selbst and Herring limp into the turn, and Sanchez folds, which is kind of disappointing because Selbst could have extracted more value before the turn.
And there is the straight flush for Vanessa Selbst.
Now that Selbst has the straight flush, she is unbeatable and is begging that somebody raises. But unfortunately for her, I don't know if they read her or it was pure luck. Both McClung and Herring check, which Selbst then follows. The river delivers the 10 of clubs, which is the perfect card to bait McClung into thinking that having a full house is somehow the strongest hand on the table, which he 100% falls for and bets $4,000. He doesn't want anyone who isn't committed to the hand to be playing it. Selbst takes her sweet time in deciding what to do, which is understandable. When you know you have the best hand on the board, you have the tough decision to make on what size raise do you make to extract maximum value.
She moves all in. Herring folds. Decision on McClung.
Herring understandably folds this wild all-in raise from Selbst, but I am wondering whether McClung will take the bait with this full house that he has.
It is bottom full house. Maybe he gets away. I call.
No, he calls.
Trickett kicks things off with 6-5 of spades. This is an extremely speculative hand that aggressive players like Trickett love. Trickett has already raised to $100,000 and our villain is considering his options.
That's 35.
With almost $200,000 already in the pot, paying $50,000 should be nothing. And our Bulgarian villain thinks the same as he calls with his Jack 7 of spades. The flop comes 2-9-3 with 2 spades. Now Trickett is hoping for the 4 of spades and the Bulgarian is begging the dealer for almost any spade but the 4. After the villain shows weakness with his check, Trickett looks like he will take matters into his own hands. And he does exactly that. He fires a bet for $80,000, which is about 1/3 of the pot. Now the ball is in the court of the Bulgarian. I think his best option is to just call and play along for another card and hope it's a good spade. After some thoughtful consideration, he does the reasonable thing and calls to see the turn. Let's see how will that play out for him.
So we'll see the turn card, and it's the 4 of spades. Wow, what a card. That has made Sam Trickett a straight flush. He is absolutely unbeatable in this hand. And Igor Kurganov has got a jack-high flush, so he'll think that he's unbeatable.
This is what we call a cooler, Jono. All the chips are going into the middle. Sam has the absolute nuts. He's got the best hand possible.
The turn delivering the 4 of spade is the best thing that could have happened to Trickett, and the worst for the Bulgarian villain. Now he will think that he has a good flush when in fact he is drawing completely dead. With Trickett betting $180,000, the price of 1/3 of the pot is not too bad for a call here. What would you do in that position? Would you fold, or would you go all in? Let me know in the comments.
All in, call.
All in, call.